everyone. How's it going? This is Dr. Bagley. I'd like to thank you very much for joining me today. Today I've got a little business thing going on. My girl Asia, not personal, but she's my accountant who's working on her CPA. She works for me and with me, and we talked yesterday with my other guys, and the question at hand is, what's the steps in becoming rich? Okay, so I don't know what the steps are, so I'm gonna give you my experience, which in today's time I think it still applies. Now, when I say my experience, I'm literally talking years ago, when I was in my early 20s in context. Okay, so let me give you what I think that I went through and what's going on right now and how it still applies. Because to be rich, well, it's not the first step, but first lesson is to understand it has nothing to do with money. When you're from poverty, which, let's go to the board here. When you're from poverty, right? Poverty, where I came from, it wasn't about the money. And it wasn't necessarily just about the product or service either. In context, I thought I was just doing product and service, but yeah, it's part of it, but no. It's not it. So let's go over, I'm moving stuff out the way. Let's go over some steps and what really it is. Okay, question, how to become rich. Step number one, right there. Your image, stereotype. Okay? Number one, image, stereotype. What happened? So everyone who doesn't know, in my senior year, all I had was one pair of pants. So when I graduated, personal things happened. I still went to New York. And when I went to New York, guys set up a meetings, and I went to go meet this old guy, and it was on his $50 million yacht, and I still looked like I just graduated from high school. One pair of pants. And when I walked on his yacht, he looked at me. The first thing he said was, "You look like shit." My image. Now, imagine, the first thing you look like is stereotype. Now, I got an example over here. Let's look at these two ladies right here. Stereotype. This one has two masters in accounting. This one has one master in accounting. Now, two masters, not in accounting, but financials and accounting. And this one just has one master in accounting. Stereotype. I asked them for a meeting. They come into a meeting at the restaurant, and they're looking like this. First stereotype. Which one do you think is really an accountant? Right? That's one thing you really have to understand. Stereotype, your image matters. Now, when I say image, it's not just the clothes you wear, it's the overall image of who you are. Now, anyone who's followed me on Facebook knows I walk around my office barefooted all the time. But, the image, my stereotyping is I am a doctor. As a doctor, can I look like a doctor? Yes. Can I look casual? Yes. Stereotype, my image is when I go to a restaurant, I know how to sit down and look when I look. When I'm going to mom and dad, I know how to look. When I go to a business meeting, I know how to look. And when I go and talk to the government and governors and politics, I know how to look. That's the image that I'm referring to. When you go places, social media represents you and going places. Think of it in that context. So if I meet mom and dad, of course I'm supposed to look very, very casual. But when I'm working, that's what I'm supposed to look like. And a lot of you can't distinguish the two. Now, in my case, when I'm talking to to politicians, then I have to look a certain part there too. And you put all that together and you put that somewhere called social media. That's my image. They're going to profile me. That's my image. As well as the friends that I associate with. Who do they look like? What do they look like? How do they look like? What are we doing? Are we all drinking and have alcohol in almost every other picture or video? And so on and so forth. First step is your image. You got to protect your image. Got to. Step number 2, etiquacy. Eating, meeting, all gatherings. Etiquacy, number 2. I can't tell you when people don't know how to eat with a fork and knife. Now, everyone should know when you go to a business meeting or a gathering, and it's a business affair. When you go to these business affairs, the reason you go a lot of times is because you really just want to see, do they have the discipline? If they know how to eat with a fork and knife, then they may have the discipline enough to know how to run a business. And if they're salespeople, for example, and your sales team do not know how to eat with a fork and knife, then we got an image problem. But etiquacy plays a big part in becoming rich, if you think about it. No one wants to be embarrassed. And if you can't eat with a fork and knife, and you don't have that skill, like I have that skill, and we're sitting and talking, right? If we're sitting and talking and she's eating with her mouth open and she's okay, knows how to eat with a fork and knife, but she's opening her mouth while she's eating and smacking and craziness like that, and she has no discipline, she can have all the masters, double masters, and PhD and all she wants. I'll still get that one first because she has number 2, etiquacy. The first 2 is exterior. They're exterior. Okay. 3. This is a little bit more complicated, but think and act is your talking and body language. Think and act, talking, body language, how you act gives you your communication. Communication is very, very important. Now, when I'm talking in front of a crowd, or if I'm talking to you and I'm talking in front of my board and I'm talking to very important people who have very important jobs that I need them for whatever reason and they need me for whatever reason, the point is, when I'm talking to them, am I talking to them with good communications, or am I doing this? See, you know what I mean? It's like, and that's what I'm talking about, and this, and so, you know what I mean? That's, no, we don't do that. You have to practice. Body language. Body language is very, very important. 80% of communication is through your body, not what comes out of your mouth. But what comes out of your mouth is how you think. So, interior, if I want to find out who a person really is, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to have a conversation with them. Where? At a restaurant or a gathering. Etiquacy. I'm going to see what you look like. And in context, right, I'm still determining if I want to hire one or the other. Body language, flirtatious, tone of voice, how they hold themselves up, is how they think and how they act. And when you communicate, you're communicating who you are. Not necessarily this 4th step, communicating the knowledge. It's not communicating the knowledge of your product or service. Step number 3 is talking and body language, communicating who you are. Step 4 is communicating the product and service, called knowledge. What is your knowledge? Tell me about your knowledge in your product and service. So a lot of professionals, she may have the knowledge in her product or service as an accountant and a business. She may have only accounting skills, but she has the knowledge. But I don't care about this if she communicates in a flirtatious way, because she looks flirtatious. Even though she knows accounting, she may want me to be serious about her in accounting. When it comes to hire me as an accountant, I got 2 masters and I got experience, 15 years experience. But if she looks like this, if she doesn't have etiquacy, if she doesn't have the talking or the body language, and she communicates in a non-professional way, I don't care if she has a PhD, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'll still hire this person first. Does that make sense? So this is the steps right here. Your image is very important. Protect your image, please. Social media, if I look you up on social media and you're, or LinkedIn, and I'm looking on LinkedIn and I'm looking on all of the medias that I can, I'm building a profile of your image, and then I'm going to stereotype you. Etiquacy. If I'm really serious about hiring a person, I'm going to invite them to a lunch or a dinner and have my team evaluate and so on and so forth. We're going to be eating meetings and all the gatherings possible because I want to see, do you have the discipline as a sales team and you represent the company? Are you going to embarrass us by smacking or getting too drunk? See, your image, if you drink too much on your social media, what do you think the etiquacy is if you represent the company? You're going to drink too much. Step number 3, of course, like we just said, thinking and acting. How do you think? How do you act? Just talk and show me your body language. I know exactly how you communicate is how you communicate about self. So when I look at myself, I talk to myself, I talk about myself. How do I communicate about self, right? All of that is discipline stuff. And then the knowledge of your product and service. The knowledge of your product and service. A lot of people do have knowledge. She has 2 masters. She has the knowledge, but that knowledge by itself, and she's not willing to learn that stuff. Now, hear me. This is what I did. So I came from poverty, right? Okay. I look like shit, like I just said, went on the guy. The next thing the guy said, the next day he took his secretary and told me, go get some clothes. All right, got the clothes. We talked about the product and service after that. Then we got into etiquacy. I had to learn because we do a lot of meetings in New York, a lot of meetings over meals. We fellowship, we're getting together, we want to know each other. Can our fellowship be equal? And then my thinking and action, was I thinking poor or was I thinking, hey, am I poor or am I trying to become, right? I'm trying to become. So my talking and body language has to match the communication of who I am becoming. Okay. Product and service, that's a skill. That's what you present. That's what you have to offer to someone you work for or you starting a business. But this right here is the steps. If you don't understand these steps, if I don't have etiquacy, if I don't have an image, why would an investor invest in me even though he's investing in the company? Investors and people who hire HR, CEOs, those kind of guys and girls, they don't invest in or hire your degree or the business by itself. They hire or invest in the person. Who are you? Who are you? When you figure out who you are and then present yourself to them who they are, if you guys sync together in all of this, then maybe you will get the investment if the product and service is money worthy. But they're going to invest in you. And as long as you have here, as long as you don't look like this, you look similar to this, with your own style, of course. Now keep in mind, I got a t-shirt on. I'm in my office. It's a Saturday. I work all the time. I'm not seeing no clients. If I did see a client, do you think I'd be wearing a t-shirt in front of my client? No. Why? My image. I know how to, again, piggyback into it. Etiquacy. We can sit down, talk, drink, eat, no matter. Talk about me. I'm a good guy, blah, blah. Knowledge. I know my stuff. Because of all of that, investments are easy. Placement in your job is easy, or easier, I should say. But that is the steps, if you will, the first 4 steps of how I became rich. Now, again, product and service took 4 years to learn. Everything else, it just so happened he put me underneath his wings and he taught me. And I was willing to learn. I didn't give him no kickback. I didn't argue with him. I didn't fuss with him. I came from here and I'm trying to get to rich and he is rich. Who am I? Dude, tell me what you want me to do. I'm going to learn it and do it. And so hopefully through my experience, this helps you out. Now keep in mind, if you need help in your image, if you need help in etiquette, if you need help in learning body language and communications and all that, I'm here to help you and teach you. As a teacher, I'm willing to teach you. If you're willing to pay for my time to teach you, I'm more than help you. Again, my position, I'm not here to give you a fish. I'm here to teach you how to fish. I know how to fish. I've been fishing for a long time. Now I'm trying to take my time out to teach you how to fish. And if you're willing to learn how to fish, we can work it out. All right. So I came from this. That's where I came from. If you want to get from one level to the next level, if you need help, let me know. If not, these are the steps. Wish you well. It's Dr. Bagley. I will talk to you guys later. Until next time. Bye-bye.